Hey, how's it going? Seriously, how is it going? It is another one of those days. For one thing, you could probably hear I'm really congested. And I'm just now hearing it myself because I haven't been all talking all day. Um, so that's nice. Feel like there's a bucket on my head. Excuse me. So yeah, another one of those days. I was just in some kind of mood all day. Um, I mean, there were times in the day where I felt perfectly fine, and then there were times in the day where I felt like, at one point, I felt like pangs in my stomach, like stress stomach kind of, and I was like, okay, yeah, I have. Actually, if I, let myself just dwell on things, I could be plenty stressed out myself. But I wasn't, I'm kind of come to terms with the stress, but I'll be getting to that in a minute. The thing is that when I wasn't feeling like just regular, I was feeling like the stomach pangs and feeling like I was being chased somehow. I mean, I wasn't moving or going anywhere, but I just had that feeling of like, um, I needed to run away. Like jump out of your skin in that kind of way, which there was no, apparent reason. But it was very strong and it was very uncomfortable. Like I did not enjoy the feeling at all. And the poor cat was also feeling that way. I keep starting to say this and then wandering off. So the stomach pains. I was like, what is happening with that? I've been trying to um, see if there's like an association with the pain. And there's been like different weird pains. But okay, let me finish with the stomach pain first. So the stomach pain thing, I'm like, why is that happening? Why am I having this feeling? And then I very strongly felt like really strong indecision, like stressed, like somebody like between a rock and a hard place kind of a position, and like struggling because they want to make like the right decision, but they feel pressured to make a not right decision. And it wasn't just one person feeling this way. And I fully was like, oh man, that's politicians, like, people in the U.S. government, like in Congress and the Senate, that are just kind of letting things happen that shouldn't happen the way they're happening, and um, just ignoring the regular order of things. So it's like really just disconcerting, right? So that was weird. Like that was probably, I've gotten real strong feelings before, but that was the first time where it was like, this is why. And that's what I started to say too, is like I've been trying to determine like, okay, my ears are ringing like really loud, and like sometimes it's not like loud like there's sound coming out of my ear, but it just feels like more intense, and it itches kind of like way inside your ear canal. I forget the names of all the things in there, but there's like a drum timpani drum situation or something in there, if I remember. And but yeah, but then I'll be like, but why is like this one ear all of a sudden doing that? Nothing is happening around me. So I feel like, I know that other people like get sensations and they're like, oh, or like I know when my knees start to hurt in certain weather, that's why, because there's weather coming, and people will tell you, or I have been told that's not why that's happening, and I'm like, okay, but it's coincidentally happening every time there's weather, so I can't help making the correlation. But things like your ear ringing, that's not just regular. You have to go like to other sources of information, less traditional sources of information. But I know that it's a thing though too, that your senses will inform you. Like you've probably seen like a ghost show, or and I mean like a reality thing. How do you call it? Well, one of those shows. And so like the people go in and they investigate the location, and they try to record like whatever phenomena is going on around them. And a lot of people are like, oh, that ain't real, and you know, it's fake and whatever. Except that it has happened to a lot of people, and there are a lot of those shows. Like there's a bunch that come out of here in the USA. There's a bunch that come out of England that you can watch here. There's a bunch that come out of Canada, South America. I mean, it's like it's a giant fake job, man, if it's not real. But for me, I also lived in a place that had that stuff going on, so I know that your feelings can like tell you things, and it's like you have flight or fright reflexes without all of that, but it's not the same as being in a place that has stuff going on. Like that's a whole whole other level of flight or fright. Fright or flight? Yeah, that was right. Now I'm rhyming. But anyway, so yeah, it took a long time for me to feel like coming in front of this thing and doing this, because I just felt so edgy, like just all day I've just been like, you are not gonna lose it today over nothing, you know. And I think it's less and less that it's like my propensity to fly off the handle. It's still there. I'm not saying it's not there, but I'm saying that I think because I've been focusing on doing that less, I am doing it a little less, or it's not happening as fast. Hey, I'll take those increments. But also, it's other stimuli involved or something. And so I don't even remember what I was talking about. Man, I don't even know what happened there. I don't know what that was. But anyway, just the feelings all weird. And then I noticed that the cat was very clingy, and I know they, you know, if we're feeling things that are just sort of atmospheric and universal, like everybody's feeling it, so are the little animals. And I didn't get out much today because it's been raining, which normally I don't mind, but it's been chilly, so I just didn't really spend much time with doors open or anything, and he didn't want to go out. But it's kind of unusual because if it's not too bad, he doesn't really care, you know. He'll be out there for hours in, you know, light rain, and I'm like, man, he's got a whole coat situation though, all the hairs and stuff. So but yeah, he has been like in here all day, and I'm like, I don't know if I don't know, it's just a little bit unusual. But I guess it's not that unusual because it seems like I was just saying this But finally, it passed, and I felt like I could do this. So, I don't know if I want to do the cards that I took out or what, because I also I saw a movie today, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do like a whole thing of its own, but I don't think I do, because I'm not gonna review it. I'm just gonna say it just wasn't that good. It wasn't terrible. I actually watched the whole thing. It didn't cause me any pain to do it. It was just bland, but it was Greenland. And I went looking for Nurse Jackie because I just wanted to, I really wanted to direct my brain from, whatever I was feeling. Whoa. I just swooned. Maybe I'm not getting enough oxygen. So, I thought I was going to do that, and then Greenland popped up first. Well, it didn't pop up. It was just in the scroll or whatever. And I thought, haha, that's funny, because, President Trump wants to buy Greenland or invade it. I'm just not sure what he's talking about from day to day when it comes to Greenland or hour to hour. I don't know. He's highly dynamic. But, I just thought it was funny, and I was like, oh, well, let me watch this. And then, I wonder if that tab is still open on here. Well, we'll see. It has, I know Gerard Butler is in it, and the woman, I believe she's in Deadpool as well. It is still open. Oh, I did it. I usually accidentally close them. I was so close to her name. So it has Gerard Butler, Morena Baccarin, I think is how you pronounce it. Oh, and I was right. His name is Scott Glenn. Scott Glenn is a... Green crack dabs on the flour. You have to excuse me. Scott Glenn is an actor who has been around, let's say, and he's been a favorite. I believe he was in The Right Stuff. He and Ed Harris are kind of the same era. From when I know them from when they were young, even before The Right Stuff. I can't even remember some of the things that I have seen, and then it'll come on, and it'll be from the 70s, and I'll be like, oh my god, that's blah. Because at that point, they're a not famous background or character actor, or he's a character actor now, so I would say at that point they were background actors or just not famous, and they'll just be all so young and different in this picture now. Well, he's older than me. I'm just looking to see if any of the cast is anyone else that is they're not the rest of the cast wasn't really in it that much, but I mean, not for long, So the reason, so I'm watching it, right? And it's a action thriller, and the reason why I went ahead and clicked on it was because it also said sci-fi, which is my thing, but I mean, I guess it was kind of sci-fi, but oh yes, before I start talking, please look at my signs, because I'm about to start talking, and the movie is from 2020, but I don't want to not warn you that I'm going to totally spoil stuff. Begin. So, okay. It's a disaster movie, right? And it's got an incoming earthbound comet that's absolutely not going to miss. They know it's not going to miss. And so they do this thing where they have a lottery, but nobody even knows there is one. And I don't know why they did this particular device, but it happens a couple of times. So let's see if I have it together enough to say them both and you will have heard it, and then we can see if we concur or not about whether or not they should have done this particular device. My cat just walked up. You have food. He does. He still has food. Okay, I really don't want to stop, okay? So, the lottery, right? The main character is played by Gerard Butler, and he's like a professional guy. He's an engineer, and there's many types of engineers. I'm not going to specify. It's just to say that he's mentally capable, right? And so he is one of the people that's chosen in the lottery that nobody knows they're in. And he gets one of those Amber Alerts on his phone, except it was like a giant lighthouse foghorn. They're bad in reality, but this one was ridiculous. Like, maybe it's the same sound, I don't know, but it was very loud and intrusive, and everyone noticed it. And then it started saying the message just loud, and the message was, you've been chosen to go to a shelter because the sky is falling and lots of people are probably going to die, so hurry and go to this airport and show yourself. And they were identifying features in that, and I was like, wow, okay. So, then, like I said, the sky is falling because there's a comet, and there's mayhem and confusion, and so I gotta do something with my cat. I'll be back. They make me totally forget where Hi, I'm back. Okay, so the other thing that happened, which was I thought a very strange use of this particular device, but so he gets this alert in public, and the other people are getting an alert, but they're not getting the go to the shelter at the specific airport alert, and they are too stunned for the moment, and are not sort of picking up on, wait, he got one that's different. And by the time they are, he's already like, pretty much out the door and in his car. So he makes an escape. But the reason why he was out in public was because he was picking up extra items for a party that was supposed to be going on at his house. So while he gets the stuff, and then he makes it back home, because at this point nobody's really sure exactly what's happening, except the alert has happened and they know, like, oh shit, it's a big deal. So by the time he gets home, pandemonium is kind of breaking loose in the world, and there's like there's one point where the dude is outside with his wife, or with his son, and his son's like, wow, Dad, look at the planes. And you look up and there's like 25, 30 fighter jets, just like enough to make you like go looking for a cellar to dive into, like, and it's not the Blue Angels, right? And there's that many coming from this direction, and then as many coming from the other direction, going the other way, like, clearly, like, the stuff is hitting the fan, and the boy's like, wow, Dad, look at the planes. And Gerard Butler's character looks up and goes, and I hope he was saying it for the benefit of the kid, but it didn't really come off that way. Maybe it was an oversight, but he says, I don't know. I have no idea what's happening. And I'm like, really? That many planes? Let me decipher it for you. Something is wrong. And so he finally, what the heck is his name in the show? Butler's character, John Garrity. So John Garrity finally gets inside the house to where all the people are, and they don't know that he's gotten this alert about having to go to the airport, and he's been singled out, right? One also came to his house that was broadcast straight through the giant, flat screen on the wall, and anything with a speaker on it was pretty much broadcasting this message really loud. And so the first time, the wife was home and there were not a bunch of guests. So there's just the three of them, the John Garrity, Nathan, the boy, and then, what the hell's the woman's name? Open. Allison Garrity is the wife. And she is blow drying her hair when the message comes. So she's there by herself, has no clue that there even has been a message. Even though, like, the whole rest of the house, she didn't have her phone with her or something, but the blow dryer covered up the noise. So, getting back to where John and the boy are, like, coming back inside from, like, oh, wow, that's an awful lot of planes. They go inside, and another message starts to broadcast, and that's when Allison and Nathan learn that they are supposed to go to the shelter because John has not had a chance to tell them. There's people, they have not been invited as far as he knows. They're not supposed to bring anybody else as part of the message. So the same message starts repeating once the party guests have, like, arrived at their house. So, again, I don't know what's up with this device, but the same message, loud ass, like, if you ever see the episode of the Venture Brothers where this, like, time traveler guy shows up, and he's, like, really, really tall in like an overcoat, like a trench coat, and then his head is like a TV or a screen or some kind of weird combination of those things, or a speaker, and it's all really, really loud, and it's all, hey, Normie! And that's also, like, coming through, like, a really bad speaker at that volume, and every time it says that, it's like, you don't see me, I'm just here to observe, and it's all shoving its way to sit down, and, well, anyway, that's what it reminded me of, this message, and it was just so blaring and so, like, it was really obnoxious. And then it had to fully disinclude all of these people right where everybody could hear. Like, that is the thing that I'm saying. Like, why did they do that? Unless it was to create the drama, which, like, I don't think they needed that device to create this particular drama of, hey, you're special. You have a special bracelet. You have a QR code, and you have a place to go where they're going to protect people, and I want to go bring my kid, like, like, it's, like I said, it's pretty formulaic, which is fine. It was entirely watchable. So, that sort of scene happens, and everybody is like, well, maybe we got our own messages at our houses. And so they go running home, and they're just like, well, whatever, like, we gotta do whatever you go run to do in a crazy emergency. Which is good, because at least the stars were able to get outside of their house pretty much intact. But then the thing started happening mildly to them, but in this situation, in a disaster movie where it's made clear that a lot of people are going to die, resources are going to be very, like, sparse, and some people are going to be able to go someplace and be safe. It's going to make the people that are not special want to take whatever it is that made the special people special and apply it to themselves, which happens in the form of like one of them getting abducted, and then I'm sure this is for drama's sake, they get separated multiple times in multiple combinations, and that part was good. Like, that was exciting the whole way, and it wasn't hard to watch because there wasn't a thing where like the people began to riot and get more and more desperate, and that got a little bit more intense, but not like uncomfortably so. Like, I actually was able to watch it, and it did make my stomach settle down because I was just kind of not thinking about all that other crap that worries me. And so I felt like there were, as I was watching it even, I felt like there were sort of some parallels to kind of what is going on, like this big uncontrollable, or this big disaster that feels uncontrollable, like the whole like administration and company, I guess. I don't, just want to be prudent, I suppose. It might be too late, but better late than never. But yeah, and like I know I personally have felt like threatened by the things that these guys want to do, and they have made sure that like everybody in the world gets to feel this I feel like it's a giant tantrum, like just taking the piss on everybody, and like everybody gets a tariff, and and then everybody has to respond, so everybody has to feel the pain. Yay! And that's what I felt like the comet was like. It was like, from what I can tell from like my own just common sense, and then also like prophetic readings from psychics and things, that yeah, things are going to be a little harsh, it's going to be a little dangerous, there's going to be some, I guess, fighting, violence, and then things are going to gradually straighten back out, and people will, and I'm talking reality here, but also in the movie this happens, but in reality, some people will have chosen this time to elect to leave, and by which I mean pass away. But this is not a decision. I'm not talking about like something they're deciding to do in the moment necessarily. I'm talking about probably not that, but more along the line of like a sort of predestined thing that was already going to happen. And so the parallel for me with the comet and what's happening is that the comet was just landing randomly places, and just they get these announcements like, find shelter, molten lava the size of a football field is landing in the tri-state area, and there's like every road congested with people trying to go to an airport somewhere and try, either they've been selected to be on a flight, or they're going to try and bull their way onto the limited space, and it's just madness. Like, the issues have been ordered, and people are like, I don't care, take my kid, I gotta go. But it's not as bad as it's not like World War Z zombie type steamrolling of people. I'm sure that's because that's it's in the script, it's deliberate, but yeah, I appreciated it because I've just been feeling kind of like I don't need to be like harshed out like that way. Pardon me. And so eventually the family, they lose some people along the way, some pretty good people, and I couldn't help but notice that one guy was literally referred to as a pretty good guy, and he was not a person that was trying to take something away from this family that had been selected. It was just a family member. It was at a point when they were separated, and he was trying to get to where the rest of them were. And this black guy, he's like, oh yeah, a bunch of us are going to go to Canada and get on a civilian plane, and we're going to go there and try to force our way in. But so things happened, and the people did go nuts and start fighting, actually trying to take the identity band that John Garrity had. And that, hold on. That caused all of the people in the vehicle they were in to start fighting. So this was like, I don't know, like 8 dudes just beating each other up in the back of a pickup with those like slats there to raise the sides. And then the people in the front are like, are they fighting? Like, what are they? They're like so surprised, like, we're going to be saved, and these idiots are back there kicking each other's ass. And I something I think flew out of the sky and caused the truck to go out of control, but they end up crashing. Everybody goes flying that was fighting. A little bit more fighting goes on between John Garrity and a couple of these guys that want to... These 2 guys are like teaming up to take one thing, and it's like, and then what happens when you get the one thing? Are you going to kill each other? Why don't you kill each other first? Leave John Garrity alone for a while. But there was some fighting, and John is the hero of the show, so of course he comes out of it. And then he goes looking for his friend that invited him, like, to get most of the way to safety now. And since people have been flung out of the truck, and this guy actually was not one of the ones fighting, he was attacked. And he's dead. He's like a full red shirt, and he's on the ground, and his head is in a not great position, so that might have been the cause of death. I just couldn't help but notice that the particular nice guy. And then similarly, when the 3 of them are separated from each other, the mother, the father, and the child have all been separated from each other. That, I mean, I mentioned that because, like, woo, drama, but good. It was good. And so she's out there flipping out because she has just been relieved of her child, basically, for the stupid band. And he's like the only one with the ID, and it still isn't going to do the people any good that he is now with. But this woman is out there alone, and well, she's Allison in the show, but the actor's name is Marina Baccarin, and if you saw Deadpool, any of them, she is the wife with the dark hair. And so this pretty little woman is out there by herself in this time of particular craziness, where normally any show, like some pervs would have picked her up. Thank goodness I didn't have to look at that. I really appreciated that. But a van of men picked her up, and they were like Latinos, and they had like broken English, whatever, but they could communicate, and they gave her a ride. They didn't mess with her. They treated her nice, and got her like most of the way to where she needed to be. And then their whole van got just destroyed. And this is what I was gonna say, like the other nice guy, why were they all the ethnic people? Like, why were the red shirts all ethnic people? I did not care for that. But that is like also how it feels in the United States right now. Like, anybody, they wanted to Trump has wanted to ban Muslims for a really long time. He tried it and wasn't able to do it, and tried it and wasn't able to do it. he's wants to do it again, and I don't know if he's been successful yet. I kind of have to just not listen to it anymore for a while, but they're snatching up like Latino citizens and or people that are like maybe immigrants that are obviously immigrants but have papers and everything and are in order. Like they're just taking lots of illegal it seems wrong to call them liberties, taking illiberties with people. And I don't think Muslims are going to fare any better. And the reason why I'm even bringing that up specifically is because, well, he seems to not care at all if Palestinians die, and those are Muslims. But ironically, the Saudis don't mind his murderous attitude toward other Muslims. I think they're Muslims, the Saudis. So I think that's kind of weird. I don't understand that, but I have thoughts about their relationship, and I don't want to talk about that right now. But anyway, people of color and black people, like now I'm hearing that black people are not being allowed to join the army anymore. Black people are not being allowed to speak like people. If you watch like Congress or something, Congress specifically, they're so rude. Like black people talk and they're just like, almost to the point where they're telling them to just shut up, and you're not gonna. No one tries that with Jasmine Crockett or like Ayanna Pressley because they know that they will get out talked and outsmarted and all that. They try it with AOC, which I don't understand because she's she's pretty sharp too. Like, listen, those three women I mentioned and all of the so-called squad, even the ones with accents that are pretty heavy, can still kind of out-talk all these people, their colleagues. But so, like, the colleagues have always been just insanely rude to their colleagues, right? And dismissive. And do you remember Marjorie Taylor Greene screaming into the door slot of AOC's office? Like, and then turning around like AOC was the bad one. Like, no, nut, you're the screaming maniac. What do you hear yourself? So, I don't know, I just saw in, like, the kind of madness in this show, it seemed like kind of, in a way, a reflection of what we are seeing now to an extreme, but kind of what's always been going along since, I'm going to say the 80s, because Reagan was kind of a rude dick a lot, and it's that whole tone of just like utter disrespect that seems to come out of nowhere, just like, whoa, wait a second, what's really on your mind? Like you're not really expecting it to come out so nastily, but it does, and it's just gotten worse and worse. And when I say worse, I mean that more explicit, like not even really trying to hide it, or hide is maybe the wrong word, but it used to be that you could finesse being insulting, and now it's just like it's all blunt object. So, the other thing about the show that was making me think of right now, like the current times, is the feeling of just sort of unrelenting stress and anxiety because of all of the things that Trump is trying to, like, unplug, shut off, disentangle, like, you just trying to undo America, basically undo the United States. I feel like every kind of institution or principle that we are supposed to stand for, even though, the majority of us will admit that we didn't really 100% stand for any of it. It was more like ideals than acts of actuality. Not to say that there wasn't that, but we have history and it gets reported a certain way, but it gets retold by the people there like the way it was. So life is interesting. But there is, I feel like, for kind of everyone, even the people that have been so happy about Trump winning and the things that have been happening, there are people that are super into Trump and company, and they don't see a problem. And I don't think it's that they're trying to be obtuse or anything like that. I think they just don't see it. Like, to them, it's not there. That's not any kind of insult. It's just kind of an observation. But I think that's where the dissonance lies. It's like something that you or it might be obvious, and to them, it just isn't even there. And you can't really get mad at people for that. Other things, though, I mean, if you're just going to be rude and insulting, that's something that you might want to, take issue with. But that's the personal preference. So, and then the movie, the name of it, it's in the news, and we know why it's in the news, is that, I think I already said that Trump wants to, buy it or whatever, or invade it. I'm not really sure, but it's just part of our, it's part of our new, we're not capitalists anymore. Now we have, Russia policies, I guess, and, so, yeah, all of the canal, the Panama Canal, that I didn't realize until earlier today that Russia is not even allowed to go there. And I don't think that's new. I think that's been long standing. And they called it a sanction. So I haven't been on top of every news everywhere. But like I said, I don't think that's new news. And, what does Trump want to all of a sudden have all this interest in the Panama Canal? And then also the over top of Canada between Greenland and Canada, I think, or Alaska. Trump really wants that, but that's the person to whom that would be of the most advantages. Russia, Putin. So it's pretty blatant. People have been saying this for a while was the case. So, I mean, he's still saying, no, it's not Russia. It's like, okay, Marsha, it is too, though. Because there's a third place that Trump wants to claim as, it's America's. And it's like, yeah, but we kind of already had access to it, we didn't have to. But who really isn't welcome there? Russia. So, if we're there, that's slowing up, all of these gaps that Russia has been after. Because before now, was that anything that anybody was talking about? Hell no. Also, a dead giveaway. So, that kind of thing. Let me drink more. That kind of thing, and the general destruction of the American state. Who else would love that? Our former adversaries, comrade. Trying to see what I'm doing on time. Oh, too much. No cards. I'm ready to stop. My eyes are burning, actually. Well, okay. Sorry, I'm already like tuning out. I have been waiting to do that, unload all of that all day. Um, so to conclude, again, I really actually enjoyed that movie. I enjoyed the actors. I enjoyed the plot. The parts, like I was saying, that would have been like too much or stressful or that I could have done without, they basically spared me of for the most part. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. And it was from 2020, but you know, that thing that the government did in the movie, like, I don't think that's how they would really do something like that. I don't think that they want to cause a stampede straight to the place where the selected special people are going. I think they have a little bit more going on upstairs than to incite that type of thing. I just have to mention it again because it must have been for the script, because otherwise it's kind of dumb. Anyway, also not out of character with this country. Like the man says, sometimes I make mistakes. I'm gonna make mistakes. But the way things were was a good guideline to not making these mistakes. I feel a little better now, actually. I know I said I was going to finish. I'm trying. I just want to get that in there, that in case you had noticed, when you are feeling the intensity of all these energies, and it just is like a lot, just know that usually things like this pass in a few hours, like it's astrological signs passing through their transit or whatever. I don't know what it is, but usually it flares up and is kind of intense, and kind of like tapers off and goes away after a while. So that's the way it's been going so far. Fingies crossed, it stays that way. All right, thank you and good night.